Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaudavani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaudavani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gauda Bhaktavinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gauda Bhaktavinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome. Ishani, Devidasi, Hare Krishna, and Aruna Lochana Prabhu. We also have
Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol, and we also have Bhakta Adam and Kala Prabhu. So, thank you all so much. Hare Krishna. I went on Sankirtan today, and I was like leaving, and I had the wagon. I was pulling the wagon filled with stuff, chairs and books and speakers and mat. And the neighbor, there's kind of like a big older gruff fella that lives next door. And every time I've seen him, I've been like, "Hey, how's it going?" He's just like, "Rah," like doesn't talk to me. And on his door, he says he has a big sign that says, "What do you call it? Whenever you go door to door." I can't remember. No, not soliciting, right? Anyway, he has a sign that says like basically, "Don't come here and try to like tell us about anything, your religion or anything." I can't think of the word. But anyway, oh, hold on, we got a couple people coming in here.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome, Sandy. Thank you for coming. And I think we have Bhakta Cassidy also coming in. Hi, Bo Bhakta C. Nice to have you. Yeah, I was just in the middle of telling a little story. We have this like gruff neighbor here, and not really so talkative or inviting generally, and doesn't seem to be, so interested. So I kind of just, try to give his space and not bother anybody. So anyway, today I was pulling our wagon to go to do a book table, and then he was sitting on his porch, and he yelled at me, and he said, "What are you moving out?" I said, "What?" I said, no, I'm not moving. He said, "What, are you going on vacation?" Like messing with me because I was pulling the wagon. And I explained to him, and then he was like, he said, "Yeah, you have some nice music coming out of that house. I hear just about every day." And he was like appreciating the kirtan, and yeah, and he was asking me like, "What are you doing?" And you know, he was like, "Oh, you're selling books and stuff." So all of a sudden, he was like really complimenting the kirtan. So I thought that was cool.
That's amazing.
So now, yeah, so I was, well, to be honest, I was not really trying to be quiet doing kirtans ever, but I was kind of having a sense of I don't want to disturb anybody. But now I've been making friends with neighbors on both sides, and I think they all like kirtan, so we can go uninhibited to kirtan.
Haribol.
That's good. We're in a little residential area and a pretty small house here, so anyway, just wanted to share that. You never know. It was totally surprising to me. Like, if I were to judge by his exterior, I never would have expected that interaction like that. So, just goes to show you can't judge. You never know who may be interested. And then today I was walking down Court Street to go to the campus. Court Street's like the main street in the middle of the town with a bunch of stores and stuff. And it's spring break right now, so it's kind of sparsely populated. There's not a lot of people walking around. And I was just pulling the wagon, and there's this really older fella that was crossing the road, and I kind of saw him coming, so I just kind of stepped, you know, to go inside of the sidewalk more to give him room, you know, instead of making him wait for me as I walked by. I got over, and he looked like kind of like dressed like an Irish style, like a wool kind of coat and like one of those kind of Irish hats. I can't remember what they're called. Maybe like a fedora kind of hat or something. I don't think it's a fedora. I can't remember. But anyway, he stepped up the curb and he said, "Hare Krishna." And I was like, "Oh, Hare Krishna." And he just waved at me and kept going. So, that was cool. All right, anyway, Hare Krishna. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I'll quit yapping and get down to business here. We're hearing from Srimad Bhagavatam 1:3:38. We're starting with 38. So if you would like, please repeat. I'm going to do a quick invocation, then we're going to dive in. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Om
Namo
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya Narang Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayat Shrinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Hridyantasto Yabhadrani Vidhunoti Suhritsatam Nashtaprayashva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavad-yutama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Alright. 638. Savedadatu padavim padasya daranta viryasya ratangapanehe yomayaya santatayanu bhajeta tatparasarojagandham. Only those who render unreserved, uninterrupted, favorable service unto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, who carries the wheel of the chariot in his hand, can know the creator of the universe in his full glory, power, and transcendence. Purport. Only the pure devotees can know the transcendental name, form, and activities of Lord Krishna, due to their being completely freed from the reactions of fruitive work and mental speculation. The pure devotees have nothing to derive as personal profit from their unalloyed service to the Lord. They render incessant service to the Lord spontaneously, without any reservation. Everyone within the creation of the Lord is rendering service to the Lord indirectly or directly. No one is an exception to this law of the Lord. Those who are rendering service indirectly, being forced by the illusory agent of the Lord, are rendering service unto him unfavorably. But those who are rendering service unto him directly under the direction of his beloved agent are rendering service unto him favorably. Such favorable servitors are devotees of the Lord, and by the grace of the Lord they can enter into the mysterious region of transcendence by the mercy of the Lord. But the mental speculators remain in darkness all the time. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord himself guides the pure devotees toward the path of realization due to their constant engagement in the loving service of the Lord and spontaneous affection. That is the secret of entering into the kingdom of God. Fruitive activities and speculation are no qualifications for entering.
Wow.
Te
Can I,
Tanya.
uh, can I
Oh,
ask
go
something real
ahead.
quick?
Sorry.
Sorry. So, I was praying, chanting, trying to follow your guru's advice about chanting very feelingly. And I had some moments of success. Mostly it wasn't successful. Like it helps me out the whole japa period, but so that in that way it was a success, but it wasn't like perfectly feeling but anyways, I was chanting feelingly and contemplating my uh recent habit of gross sensualism with food and with weather and temperature and hot showers and all this stuff. And I came to this conclusion that I'm totally, because I remember I kept reading that people who are chanting Hare Krishna, trying to be on the spiritual platform, but who return to sense gratification, they're certainly confused. That had me thinking that, anyways, long story short, I realized I'm like this stone, like life, like I'm just indifferent to a lot of things. Even a lot of times I'm indifferent to chanting or to seva. And this carelessness is really, really, really unbecoming. So I realized I was kind of trapped in this like careless state, like kind of trapped. So I started chanting really, really intently, like, please just let me render service to you favorably. And anyways, all this to say, I'm just wondering, what is pure devotional service as you understand it? And how can I engage myself in pure devotional service ASAP?
Um, well, yeah, thanks for sharing that, Prabhuji. Um, well, according to the purport we just heard, Prabhupada says, the pure devotees have nothing to derive as personal profit from their unalloyed service to the Lord. They render incessant service to the Lord spontaneously, without any reservation. So, just since you asked that question now, and I'm just going to refer to, or, try to make a connection with what we just heard Prabhupada explaining about this pure devotional service. You know, nothing to derive as personal profit. Uh, you know, and rendering incessant service to the Lord spontaneously without reservation. It's an interesting description, isn't it? But I'm going to focus
Yeah.
on not at least having. I've heard this one pastime. Prabhupada defined pure devotional service in different ways in different time, places, and circumstances. And actually, we heard in I think the first chapter, 2 chapters ago, that basically just having this quality of sincerity in devotional service, one's devotional service may be considered pure, just being like genuine, even if we're not free from bad habits and attachments and whatever. But, you know, just, we hear over and over again, just by hearing submissively and sincerely, even just one time, one Maha Mantra is enough to completely seal the deal, so to speak, in you're going back to Godhead or being established in devotional service to the Lord. So, yeah, Anyabilashita Shunyam, without motivation, without desire for personal profit, spontaneous, out of affection. Like, well, Krishna, I like you, Krishna, and I want you to be happy. Therefore, is there anything I can do? And we hear the Shikshastakam every day, most of us. And, the Shikshastakam is 8 verses written by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, explaining successively different levels of devotional service. And the 8th verse, which is considered to be the highest rung, highest state of devotional service. Ashlishlava pararatam panashtumam adarshanan marma hatam karotu va. Yatatata. Oh, I forgot it. Yatatata de. I'm spacing out right now. Yatatata vidadhato lampato mat prananatas tusa eva napadaha. I know no one but Krishna is my Lord, and he shall remain so, even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He's completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally. So, in other words, staying in that state of unmotivated, not for personal profit, uninterrupted, it's ongoing, despite so many difficulties, is pure devotional service. Another point I like to make, you talked about your engagements in sense gratification, which, we all do, for the most part, except for the pure devotees. But, there's a difference between being attached and not being attached. Specifically going to try to enjoy, and sometimes just like by force of habit, or even sometimes there's physical circumstances or circumstances of the mind or what have you that, externally we may be going through these motions of doing things in particular ways, the way we were trained, the way we were raised, the way we understand. We might try to adjust these things the best we can, but find ourselves struggling to totally take on perfectly so many rules, regulations, and practices.
Yeah.
But the thing is that bhakti is transcendental. So whatever, you take some kind of a warm shower, it's not really like, okay, you can't serve Krishna now, or you can't go to Goloka Vrindavan because you're having warmer showers than air temperature or something, But it's the thing that's really important is the mentality behind what we're doing. Because we can become just detached, and it's like warm shower, cold shower, eating, some simple khichdi or some opulent pakoras and raita and fancy schmancy foodstuffs. It's like either way, not attached, more attached to the service, offering these things to Krishna, offering your cool water to Krishna, offering your warm water to Krishna, all these things. That's the main thing, is just being in that mood of devotion and connecting with Krishna, not being so attached. Like if you take a warm shower all the time, but you're totally meditating on Krishna and not really attached to it, then one day your hot water goes out, and then you're just like, oh, whatever, Krishna gives this today. Okay, then you have a cold one, or whatever. not to be overly endeavoring or overly attached. Nice verse is, I think, verse 3 of the Nectar of Instruction. Talking about, it's either 2 or 3, I can't remember. But, talking
Three
about
is
the six,
Utsaha.
huh?
Three is Utsaha Nishya Dharya.
It's not that one, it's the other one. Talking about the
Two.
6 unfavorable things
I guess two.
for devotional service. So, you know, over endeavoring, over collecting, endeavoring for sense gratification. You're not really endeavoring for it, it's just a habit, really, mostly, for most of us. So, it's just like not to dwell on that. We don't have to be something we're not in devotional service. It's just a matter of, becoming more conscious of Krishna and engaging in devotional service and not to worry about all these things so much. But yeah, if it's in such a way that it's distracting us or holding us back in some way or becoming unfavorable, we might take some extra endeavor to nip it in the bud or whatever. Try to tighten up.
One thing that is, I think, helping me with this, with kicking out this poisonous snake of gross sensualism and sleep, is reading Bhagavatam and reading all the purports and really trying to hear the quality of sound, really trying to hear what the message is, because, it's all about kicking out those things.
Yeah, and there's so much inspiration there. You get perspective. But yeah, I hope that's satisfying. If you don't have anything else, then, or if anybody else wants to share, feel free or feel welcome. Um, Otherwise, I'll keep going if that's all right.
All good.
Jai. Thank you, Prabhuji. All right. Text 39. Ateha Ateha Danya Bhagavanta Etam Yadvasudeve Kilalokanate Korvanti Sarvatmakamatma Bhavam Nayatra Bhuya Parivarta Ugraha. Only by making such inquiries in this world can one be successful and perfectly cognizant. For such inquiries invoke transcendental ecstatic love unto the personality of Godhead, who is the proprietor of all the universes, and guarantees cent percent immunity from the dreadful repetition of birth and death. Purport. The inquiries of the sages headed by Shaunaka are herewith praised by Sutta Goswami on the merit of their transcendental nature. As already concluded, only the devotees of the Lord can know him to a considerable extent, and no one else can know him at all. So the devotees are perfectly cognizant of all spiritual knowledge. The personality of Godhead is the last word in absolute truth. Impersonal Brahman and localized Paramatma, Supersoul, are included in the knowledge of the personality of Godhead. So one who knows the personality of Godhead can automatically know all about him, his multipotencies and his expansions. So the devotees are congratulated as being all successful. A cent percent devotee of the Lord is immune to the dreadful material miseries of repeated birth and death. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samitam Uttama Shloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishihi Nishreyasya Lokasya Dhanyam Swasthya Namahat. This Srimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of God, and it is compiled by Srila Vyasadeva, the incarnation of God. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people, and it is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. The literary incarnation of God. Purport. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu declared that Srimad Bhagavatam is the spotless, sound representation of all Vedic knowledge and history. There are selected histories of great devotees who are in direct contact with the personality of Godhead. Srimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of Lord Sri Krishna and is therefore non-different from him. Srimad Bhagavatam should be worshipped as respectfully as we worship the Lord. Thereby we can derive the ultimate blessings of the Lord through its careful and patient study. As God is all light, all bliss, and all perfection, so also is Srimad Bhagavatam. We can have all the transcendental light of the Supreme Brahman, Sri Krishna, from the recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam, provided it is received through the medium of the transparent spiritual master. Lord Chaitanya's private secretary, Srila Swarup Damodar Goswami, advised all intending visitors who came to see the Lord at Puri to make a study of the Bhagavatam from the Person Bhagavatam. Person Bhagavatam is the self-realized bona fide spiritual master, and through him only can one understand the lessons of Bhagavatam in order to receive the desired result. One can derive from the study of the Bhagavatam all benefits that are possible to be derived from the personal presence of the Lord. It carries with it all the transcendental blessings of Lord Sri Krishna that we can expect from his personal contact. Okay. Text 41. Tadidam grahayamasa sutam atmavatam vadam sarvavede tihasanam saram samudritam. Srila Vyasadeva delivered it to his son, who is the most respected among the self-realized, after extracting the cream of all Vedic literatures and histories of the universe. Purport. Men with a poor fund of knowledge only accept the history of the world from the timeline of Buddha, or since 600 BC. And prior to this period, all histories mentioned in the scriptures are calculated by them to be only imaginary stories. This is not a fact. All the stories mentioned in the Puranas and Mahabharata and so on are actual histories, and only of this planet, not only of this planet, but also of millions of other planets within the universe. Sometimes the history of planets beyond this world appears to such men to be unbelievable, but they do not know that different planets are not equal in all respects, and that therefore some of the historical facts derived from other planets do not correspond with the experience of this planet. Considering the different situation of different planets and also time and circumstances, there is nothing wonderful in the stories of the Puranas, nor are they imaginary. We should always remember the maxim that one man's food is another man's poison. We should not therefore reject the stories and histories of the Puranas as imaginary. The great rishis like Vyas had no business putting some imaginary stories in their literatures. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, historical facts selected from the histories of different planets have been depicted. It is therefore accepted by all the spiritual authorities as the Mahapurana. The special significance of these histories is that they are all connected with activities of the Lord in a different time and atmosphere. Srila Shukadeva Goswami is the topmost personality of all the realized souls, and he accepted this as the subject of studies from his father Vyasadeva. Srila Vyasadeva is the great authority, and the subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam being so important, he delivered the message first to his great son Srila Shukadeva Goswami. It is compared to the cream of the milk. Vedic literature is like the milk ocean of knowledge. Cream or butter is the most palatable essence of milk, and so also is Srimad Bhagavatam, for it contains all palatable, instructive, and authentic versions of different activities of the Lord and his devotees. There is no gain, however, in accepting the message of Bhagavatam from the unbelievers, atheists, and professional reciters who make a trade of Bhagavatam for the layman. It was delivered to Srila Shukadeva Goswami, and he had nothing to do with the Bhagavat business. He did not have to maintain family expenses by such trade. Srimad Bhagavatam should therefore be received from the representative of Shukadeva, who must be in the renounced order of life without family encumbrance. Milk is undoubtedly very good and nourishing, but when it is touched by the mouth of a snake, it is no longer nourishing. Rather, it becomes a source of death. Similarly, those who are not strictly in the Vaishnav discipline should not make a business of this Bhagavatam and become a cause of spiritual death for so many hearers. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that the purpose of all the Vedas is to know Him, Lord Krishna, and Srimad Bhagavatam is Lord Sri Krishna Himself in the form of recorded knowledge. Therefore, it is the cream of all the Vedas, and it contains all historical facts of all times in relation with Sri Krishna. It is factually the essence of all histories. Text 42. Satu Sangshravayammasa Maharajam Parikshitam Praya Bhavishtam Gangayam Paritam Paramarshibihi. Shukadeva Goswami, the son of Vyasadeva, in his turn delivered the Bhagavatam to the great emperor Parikshit, who sat surrounded by sages on the bank of the Ganges, awaiting death without taking food or drink. Purport. All transcendental messages are received properly in the chain of disciplic succession. This disciplic succession is called parampara. Unless, therefore, Bhagavatam or any other Vedic literatures are received through the parampara system, the reception of knowledge is not bona fide. Vyasadeva delivered the message of Shukadeva Goswami, and from Shukadeva Goswami, Sutta Goswami received the message. One should therefore receive the message of Bhagavatam from Sutta Goswami or from his representative and not from any irrelevant interpreter. Emperor Parikshit received the information of his death in time, and he at once left his kingdom and family and sat down on the bank of the Ganges to fast till death. All great sages, rishis, philosophers, mystics, and so on went there due to his imperial position. They offered many suggestions about his immediate duty, and at last it was settled that he would hear from Shukadeva Goswami about Lord Krishna. Thus the Bhagavatam was spoken to him. Sripad Shankaracharya, who preached Mayavad philosophy and stressed the impersonal feature of the Absolute, also recommended that one must take shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna, for there is no hope of gain from debating. Indirectly, Sripad Shankaracharya admitted that what he had preached in the flowery grammatical interpretations of the Vedanta Sutra cannot help one at the time of death. At the critical hour of death, one must recite the name of Govinda. This is the recommendation of all great transcendentalists. Shukadeva Goswami had long ago stated the same truth, and that at the end, one must remember Narayan. That is the essence of all spiritual activities. In pursuance of this eternal truth, Srimad Bhagavatam was heard by Emperor Parikshit, and it was recited by the able Shukadeva Goswami. And both the speaker and the receiver of the messages of Bhagavatam were duly delivered by the same medium. Krishne swadamo bhagate dharma jnana dibisaha kalo nashta drishamesha paranarako dhunoditaha. This Bhagavat Purana is as brilliant as the sun, and it has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, and so on. Persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance in the age of Kali shall get light from this Purana. Purport. Lord Sri Krishna has his eternal dham or abode where he eternally enjoys himself with his eternal associates and paraphernalia. And his eternal abode is a manifestation of his internal energy, whereas the material world is a manifestation of his external energy. When he descends on the material world, he displays himself with all paraphernalia in his internal potency, which is called Atma Maya.
Can I ask something really quickly?
Yes.
So, when it is said that this is his internal energy, for example, in Chantari Krishna, does that directly mean that like the internal feelings that is it like the same thing as whenever we feel something? Like are they actually saying that Krishna feels that internally, just like we feel it internally? Is it like that?
Um, well, Krishna's internal potency is basically the spiritual energy
Yeah.
in itself. And then of the internal energy or the internal potency, there are three primary potencies. The Sundani, Samvit, and Hladani potencies.
Okay.
And these are basically the potency of cognizance, the Dom potency, or like paraphernalia, like Balaram, like the landscape and things of his holy, of his abode. And Hladani potency is his internal pleasure-giving potency. So basically, the best I can answer your question, I think, is yes. Whenever we are genuinely situated in Krishna's internal potency or come in contact with it, we naturally do feel blissful. There may be unlimited different variations of flavors and tastes of that blissful spiritual potency, and that is, you know, essentially Krishna's energy that we're tasting. But does Krishna feel it the same way we do? I don't know. I think Krishna's bliss is unlimited, and he's this is his what he does for his enjoyment is tasting these rasas with his different devotees, and undoubtedly, when we're acting in connection with Krishna and genuine and especially pure devotional service to Krishna,
Yeah.
we are sharing in the bliss of devotional service with him. So, you know, it's also like Prabhupada said, um, it's just like whenever you're hungry and so you eat something, like you don't need someone to give you a certificate or let you know whenever you're satisfied with it, with eating, because you feel it. And so he said Krishna consciousness is like that. Um, so anyway, I don't know if I really
God,
answered your
so the
question.
actual like internal feelings that Krishna is having personally is called Haladini, is it? I'm sorry.
Well, it's his internal pleasure giving potency. And basically, it's through that potency we are tasting. And Krishna is also tasting.
But it's
But
we
Krishna is
but
also Krishna is also unlimited.
yeah.
Krishna can bend the rules in every single kind of way. So if he decides he wants to taste independently from his, like internal pleasure giving
Uh-huh.
potency, he will.
Yeah.
So it's I can offer some understanding, but Krishna, because he's unlimited, like all these concepts and stuff that we can understand, he can also change, and if there's rules, he can break them. Basically. So
Okay.
maybe somebody else can share on this topic something more. But we also hear that one can know if Krishna is pleased, you know, because the devotees will be pleased. We also will feel pleased. So this is also Krishna's pleasure that we are also experiencing. So I would say
Awesome.
the ultimate answer to that question, the best that I can give, is going to be simultaneously, inconceivably, yes and no.
Okay, yeah. All right.
So
Appreciate it. That's good.
Hare Krishna. All right. Um, keep going here. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that he descends by his own potency, Atma Maya. His form, name, fame, paraphernalia, abode, and so on are not therefore creations of matter. He descends to reclaim the fallen souls and to reestablish codes of religion which are directly enacted by him. Except for God, no one can establish the principles of religion. Either he or a suitable person empowered by him can dictate the codes of religion. Real religion means to know God, our relation with him, and our duties in relation with him, and to know ultimately our destination after leaving this material body. The conditioned souls who are entrapped by the material energy hardly know all these principles of life. Most of them are like animals engaged in eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating. They are mostly engaged in sense enjoyment under the pretension of religiosity, knowledge, or salvation. They are still more blind in the present age of quarrel or Kali Yuga. In the Kali Yuga, the population is just a royal addition of the animals. They have nothing to do with spiritual knowledge or godly religious life. They are so blind that they cannot see anything beyond the jurisdiction of the subtle mind, intelligence, or ego. But they are very much proud of their advancement in knowledge, science, and material prosperity. They can risk their lives to become a dog or hog just after leaving the present body, for they have completely lost sight of the ultimate aim of life. The personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, appeared before us just a little prior to the beginning of Kali Yuga, and he returned to his eternal home practically at the commencement of Kali Yuga. While he was present, he exhibited everything by his different activities. He spoke the Bhagavad Gita specifically and eradicated all pretentious principles of religiosity. And prior to his departure from this material world, he empowered Sri Vyasadeva through Narada to compile the messages of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and thus both the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam are like torchbearers for the blind people of this age. In other words, if men in this age of Kali want to see the real light of life, they must take to these two books only, and their aim of life will be fulfilled. Bhagavad Gita is the preliminary study of the Bhagavatam, and Srimad Bhagavatam is the summum bonum of life, Lord Sri Krishna personified. We must therefore accept Srimad Bhagavatam as the direct representation of Lord Krishna. One who can see Srimad Bhagavatam can see also Lord Sri Krishna in person. They are identical. All right, final verse. Tatra kirtayato viprarshir buddhi tejasah aham chadyagamam tatra nivishtashtadanugrahat saham vashravayashyami yatadhitam yatamati. O learned Brahmanas, when Shukadeva Goswami recited Bhagavatam there in the presence of Emperor Parikshit, I heard him with rapt attention, and thus by his mercy I learned the Bhagavatam from that great and powerful sage. Now I shall try to make you hear the very same thing as I learned it from him and as I have realized it. Purport. One can certainly see directly the presence of Lord Sri Krishna in the pages of Bhagavatam, if one has heard it from a self-realized great soul like Shukadeva Goswami. One cannot, however, learn Bhagavatam from a bogus hired reciter whose aim of life is to earn some money out of such recitation and employ the earning in sex indulgence. No one can learn Srimad Bhagavatam who is associated with persons engaged in sex life. That is the secret of learning Bhagavatam. Nor can one learn Bhagavatam from one who interprets the text by his mundane scholarship. One has to learn Bhagavatam from the representative of Shukadeva Goswami and no one else, if one at all wants to see Lord Sri Krishna in the pages. That is the process, and there is no alternative. Suta Goswami is a bona fide representative of Shukadeva Goswami because he wants to present the message which he received from the great learned Brahmana. Shukadeva Goswami presented Bhagavatam as he heard it from his great father, and so also Suta Goswami is presenting Bhagavatam as he had heard it from Shukadeva Goswami. Simple hearing is not all. One must realize the text with proper attention. The word Navishta means that Suta Goswami drank the juice of Bhagavatam through his ears. That is the real process of receiving Bhagavatam. One should hear with rapt attention from the real person, and then he can at once realize the presence of Lord Krishna in every page. The secret of knowing Bhagavatam is mentioned here. No one can give rapt attention who is not pure in mind. No one can be pure in mind who is not pure in action. No one can be pure in action who is not pure in eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating. But somehow or other, if someone hears with rapt attention from the right person, at the very beginning, one can assuredly see Lord Sri Krishna in person in the pages of Bhagavatam. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the first canto, third chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Krishna is the source of all incarnation.
Hey, Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Sadhu.
Hey.
Shoo. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Okay.
Okay, guys, I'm going to end the reading section there. Now, it's open mic for everybody. Tomorrow we're starting chapter 4, the appearance of Sri Narada. Don't want to miss that. Hare Krishna.
Definitely not.
What's that?
Definitely not. I definitely don't want to miss it. And so just to be conclusive, what would you say to someone who is wanting to be engaged in pure devotional service regarding how they can do that?
Well, chant Hare Krishna, especially well, as many rounds as possible. Chant.
Okay.
Chanting and take association with devotees as much as possible. Seek out like-minded and devotees you're inspired by and who are also, qualified. Take their association and serve them.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, just some basic thing. Anything else for anybody? Hare Krishna.
A lot of people.
Well, if there's no discussion points, I feel like I've talked more than too much already. So we can call it a day here. So speak now or forever hold your peace. At least until tomorrow.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can you hear me?
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah. Um, I'm appreciating being able to drink the juice of the Bhagavatam through my ears. Oh, that's nice.
Absolutely, yeah. Prabhupada's purports are just nectar,
Yeah.
nectar to the ears. Yeah,
So,
it's Bhagavatam special, especially relishable. Anything realizations you'd like to share?
I thought it was interesting in one of the purports, Prabhupada said that uh, they can't be like the Bhagavatam can't be like properly preached by someone who's like enwrapped in sex. That was very interesting.
Right. Yeah. And even not just even gross sex, especially gross, but also subtle. And Prabhupada said that sex life manifests itself in three ways: profit, adoration, and distinction. And this is like subtly we might chase all these things or one of these things, and also sex basically Just I thinking I am the body, I am man, I am woman, that's also sex life. But the thing is, if it depends how we understand that, because by the mercy of a bona fide spiritual master, even one who is not completely perfect or pure in a way, if they are purely trying to serve the pure spiritual master, then they can be empowered to present it purely, if that makes sense. Otherwise, um, we would be very, very much, not very many of us will be able to preach at all. But, um, there's a difference between a sincere devotee and just like someone who's just out in the material world, just endeavoring for sex life and just totally materialistic. So there is that also. Anybody agree, disagree?
Profit, adoration, and distinction. That's really nice. What do you think is like an example of distinction or even adoration? 'Cause those are
Well,
so like subtle.
people. We want people to adore us. Like, oh, you're so great, and we want
Yeah.
distinction. Like, oh, I am a exceptionally good kirtan leader.
Uh, I thought you meant like if you're making a certain
I
kind of
serve this
distinction.
prasadam on their plate so perfectly, better than everybody else, or whatever it is.
Yeah. I thought that he was saying like I thought what I got was or not what I got, but what I interpreted was like maybe he's saying like if you're making a certain kind of distinction, that can be a sign of your own sex life. I guess that makes sense too.
Yeah, it's like seeking that, for herself.
I see. Okay.
Bhakti,
Nice.
were you gonna say something else?
No,
Oh, okay.
thank you.
All right. Thanks, Prabhuji. Kalaji, you want to share anything before we go?
Thank you for your sharing, Prabhuji. I was happy to hear and be here. I was in the forest for a time, just came back to the vehicle here. Um, but in general, like those things that were stated about how maybe somebody, has an attraction towards these different things, or maybe they're still in that mood, of material dynamic. Um, when when you sanctify it, like even looking at people that are great kirtaneers or the people who are serving around you, different things, being able to see like how much they are serving Krishna, this is definitely exponentially different than seeing someone who's just seeking name and fame, you know, or their own material desires, you know. So when we see devotees working in bhakti and their seva and sadhanas all in that, it's like, yeah, it's a beautiful thing to see. So I wanted to bring that to point as well. Grateful to see that today a lot, you know.
Yeah, it's a good point, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
Because
being around the temple, you have more opportunity for this. So, and really everybody, they kind of put their heart in at different points, but maybe their consciousness not quite there in certain ways. But yeah, it's really nice to see uh, seva coming out and the bhakti that everybody gives. So
right. Yeah, it's an important point. Devotees are not to be judged for their shortcomings, basically. And yeah, I mean, we hear also even someone who's chanted Hare Krishna even one time, just said Hare Krishna. Basically, they're worshipable. It's amazing. It's a good point, Prabhuji.
yeah, and again, I was just on a little walk here in the forest, listening to the reading, and it was so transcendental. So thank you, Prabhuji, for providing this. platform and bringing everyone together.
Jai.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. All right, guys. No other points, then I'll shut it down. Hare Krishna.
All right,
Yes.
Krishna. I just wanted to give another appreciation for this reading and what you're doing and putting it on YouTube for people even in like 100 years can probably like find this and be associating with devotees. So and people that don't watch it and just see like the thumbnail of these like transcendental artworks on their like screen as they scroll past it. It's like great service to the world. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
And really appreciate you guys being so steady. It's like, I feel like this is my, like, you go out and you do your work and you do so many things and responsibilities, and then at the end of the day, you like come back home and then you get in your comfortable space and whatever you do. And I feel like this is like my home. Like the Zoom call with you guys is like my it's like my room, like in the house. It's like this is like
That's
yeah, that's how I feel.
nice.
Hey Krishna. So yeah, and it's Srila Prabhupada's potency. I mean, all we're doing is we're just we're just trying to hear his books, just trying to hear him. It's amazing, what happens. Of course, you guys know I've been doing readings. I did them for years before. I did for a long time, and took a little break going public with them and stuff. But the most substantial and significant experiences in my attempts at Krishna consciousness in this life has been the relationships and opportunities that have come from hearing Prabhupada's books with devotees. The relationships that have developed from that and everything else. That's been the most potent thing I've ever experienced, and that's why I want to keep doing it, because I can only imagine, it just keeps getting better as time is going, and it's amazing. So I feel like honored to be able to do that and share it. And then especially like anybody who comes and hears, like basically Prabhupada said, you can judge a person's advancement by their eagerness to hear. So this is like just attracts the most advanced devotees to, and I get the like privilege of taking their association basically. So Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jay.
Hey.
Mancha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa
Sindhubhya
sindhubhya
evacha
patitanam
patitanang
pavanebhyo
pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
namo
namo
namaha.
namaha.
Nantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Jay.
Alright guys, I'm gonna end it. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.